Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the Shop My Stash for the second full week of October. So I know this is a little bit late, but I did want to share with you guys what I used all last week and give you some mini reviews as we go through the products. So let's start with primer and foundation. So for primer last week, I used the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. It's the one in the little pink sort of frosted plastic tube. A really great primer. I love the sort of pore filling effect that it has, and it's $6. You really can't beat it. For foundation last week, the first day I used my Urban Decay, this one, oh my god, nope. The other one, the Naked Skin Weightless, oh my gosh. But for the rest of the week, I used my Maybelline Better Skin Foundation in the shade 10 Porcelain, I believe. Yes, 10 Porcelain. I always forget how much I enjoy this foundation. It really does just look like skin, and it's a pretty decent color match for me. It's not going to be, now that we are going into the more fall and winter months, and my skin will get increasingly more pale, but it was a nice color match for me last week as well. To top that, I used the Super Stay Better Skin Transforming Powder, also in the shade 10 Porcelain. This is a little bit dark if you just look at it in the pan and like hold it up to my skin, but if you just do a light dusting over it, it actually works out really nicely for my skin. To apply the foundation, I primarily used this guy, as well as my Real Technique sponge. I wanted to try out a set of these brushes that I picked up on Amazon at the end of September, and they were $10 for, I believe, 5 brushes. I enjoyed this one a lot, which is the one I use for foundation, and then I have a bigger one right back there, if you can see it, that I use for powder. However, the other 3 that came in the set really are sort of misses for me, but this is one of the tools that I did enjoy using for foundation last week. For concealer, I used my new Holy Grail favorite concealer, and that is the Tarte Shape Tape in Fair. This is all over YouTube. It was difficult to get your hands on it for a while, and luckily I was able to stumble across it before I started my no-buy this month, and I picked it up and have been loving it so far. Let's see. For brows, I have been using this combination. So this is the Anastasia Perfect Brow Duo in the shade Dark Brown, and surprisingly, I have been loving it. I do sort of I apply it with an angled brush, an angled mini brush, and I do sort of 3 taps into this and 1 tap into the darker side, and then blend it on through. And usually have to do that a couple times per brow, but I love how natural it makes my brows look. I am wearing it today. I'm also using it in this week's Shop My Stash, in case you're wondering. And then should I feel like I need a little bit more hold, because these are just powders, I have been topping it with the Maybelline Brow Drama Sculpting Brow Mascara in the shade Soft Brown. This is almost out. I have had it for quite a while, and it's probably going to be the last week or so that I am using it, but I have really been enjoying this combination together. For mascara, I've been using another favorite, Holy Grail. This is the Too Faced Better Than Sex. I finally picked up a full size. I believe I used this last week as well, and really I love this mascara. For highlight, blush, and bronzer, so I finally used the e.l.f. Contour Palette. This is just I don't know that there is a shade, just the contour palette. And this is what this guy looks like. I sort of blended these 2 together to do more of a bronzy last week. I never really touched this more warm-toned one, but this highlight, oh my gosh. Okay, so I used this one alone as well, which was the Lorac powder highlight in the shade Starlight. Love this as well. And I used this alone, but when you put them together, it's just wonderful. But this highlight is super natural. It gives you a really pretty subtle glow, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm considering getting another one of these little 4 pan palettes from e.l.f. and sort of, since these little pans do actually pop out, and just sort of customizing what I do like. So maybe 1 highlight, 1 bronzer, 1 blush, and 1 something else, I'm not sure. Or maybe one of the illuminating powders. I haven't tried those yet. But that is what I used sort of for highlighting and bronzer this last week. And then the blush that I used was from Too Faced. It's their Love Flush Blush in the shade Baby Love. Yes, Baby Love. Very pretty, very neutral, very intense blush though, so you have to tap off the excess for sure. Last but not least, for my eyeshadow palette, last week I used the Lorac Pro, just the original Pro palette. Ooh, there it is. Really, really enjoyed this palette. I will say, let's see, I think it was Friday, I really wanted to go with more of a warm tone bronzy look, so I did have to dig into another palette. Actually, my Coastal Scents Individual Shadows, I used a really pretty warm bronzy shade. But I did use other shades from this palette that day, just not on my lid. But love this palette, a great variety of colors. They do have a more bronzy shade. It's the shade Pewter right here, but it's much more cool tone than I was going for last Friday. But that is the Shop My Stash for the second full week in October. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know down below. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.